this gigantic 𝐷𝐷 and all. We get to see all of these cool things, and it came from one man creating something.
So like a lot of times CEOs, they travel differently, they live in different neighborhoods. I feel like he made it seem like he was one of them, a part of them.
Millions of dollars, the company made over time. He didn't, drive around in a Rolls Royce or anything like that. He was just a very humble man dedicated to service.
Gary was thinking years out and decades out.
In order to get the most out of the opportunity, you have to give yourself the most opportunity.
Say that again.
I can't. You expect me to remember what I just said?
It's like if you ever met Michael Jordan, you'd be like, that's Michael Jordan. For whatever reason, 𝐘𝐨𝐶, he's just a regular guy. I was like, hey Keith, I'm Paul. I watch your videos. And he's like, hey, what's up, bro? He's like, hey, can I ask you a favor? I know we just met. He's like, you mind filming this? And I forgot to hit record. I was so nervous. Welcome to Pella, Iowa. Today we are hanging out with some folks who've been on the podcast before, and one, I think it might be your first time, this construction worker we found. So I'll introduce the guest really quick from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Cornell Mack. Say hello.
Hello, what's going on?
From Midlothian, Virginia, Naylor Taliaferro.
How you doing?
From Compton, California, now Pella, Iowa, Trevor Koolmees.
That's right. Hello, welcome.
And from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 𝐘𝐨𝐶.
What's going on, guys?
With this PPE.
Just got off the job site.
So we have been super blessed here. The reason we are in Iowa is Vermeer invited us because they wanted to show us about their historic company that started in 1948. My memory serves correct, by Gary Vermeer. And I want to get your guys' fresh take, as we have been absolutely blessed today learning about this culture. We're all building businesses, but the culture that we found here today is just absolutely epic. So Naylor, I'll start with you. We've done so many of these tours for so many of the largest companies in the industry, but today was very different. Why is that?
Before I knew that this was one of their core beliefs was people. I knew that this was all about people. Just from the very first interaction with anyone from the Vermeer team, to the intro video, to the museum tour, and all the hospitality, I could just tell the culture immediately here, and that it's all about people. And then we learned that it is all about people here, and people is their biggest asset, I think, was what I saw on the wall. So one of the great quotes. So that is, great people make great products. This is what I'm coming up with in my head based off of what I've experienced here. And there's a huge history, long history, like you said, and it's just been that family environment has just continued all the way through. So it's been an amazing experience, and I'm very grateful to be a part of it.
Yeah, they've walked us through 1948 till today, 2025, and just how the company has grown into thousands of employees. My team's small, but that company culture, we can talk about sports and things of that nature, but in business, the culture that we're finding here, it's in your DNA. So we'll get to you in a moment, Trevor, but Cornell, what's your fresh takeaways here?
Just the how innovative Mr. Gary Vermeer was. And I always end all of my podcasts and all of my YouTube videos with the creator created you to be creative. So create the life that you want. And he literally created this gigantic 𝐷𝐷 and all. We get to see all of these cool things, and it came from one man creating something. God puts us here to be creative, and he literally created and then passed that lineage down to everyone, starting with his kids and then going all the way through the staff. So it's been super, super amazing to me too.
Yeah, and some of the things he created, he gave up on, that he called them flops, but other people took it. So in the museum, they showed, here's all the things that won, but he created other things. If he would have just stuck with it, it'd been, but yeah. Trevor, you've been here 8 years.
Yeah, yep.
So you've eat, sleep, breathe this culture. What's it like?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you all did a great job painting the picture on, who we are, what our DNA is about. We talked this morning about our 4P philosophy, and people are the center of that 4P philosophy, and you all hit on that really well. Like you mentioned, a family, owned company, and the family's heavily involved in the business, right? And they're living out a lot of Gary's legacy that you all mentioned, right? Like, we're a company that stands on our legacy and our 4P philosophy. And that's totally ingrained into who we are as a company and the people that you interact with, that we all got to see, meet, and experience today.
Chase, fresh off the field here in his PPE outfit, what have
Yeah.
been your takeaways from today?
It's been extremely eye-opening to see what Gary and the company at Vermeer has created over the past 75 years. To go from, he was a farmer that created his first piece of equipment to 75 years later, having the operation he has today and seeing his humbleness. And we got to have lunch in his house today. I mean, it was kind of crazy, the experience you guys put us through today. So thank you.
I want to talk about the 4 Ps.
Yeah.
So can you share, what each of those 4 pillars are?
Yeah, so the 4P philosophy, we talked about people there at the center of our 4P philosophy, but also there's 3 other important Ps there, and that's product, profit. We're a for-profit company, right? We're not a non-for-profit like all you. You're entrepreneurs, and we're, in the business of making money, as well as our product. So we got product, people, profit, and the 4th one is principles. So you all, and again, we're talking about the company's DNA and who we are, and our principles are extremely critical to that 4P philosophy as well.
Yeah, and Brenda did such a wonderful job giving us a tour. She is so passionate. I mean, she's like 1948, 1963, 1973.
Yeah.
And it was epic, but the theme of what kept coming up is treat other people the way you want to be treated. I mean, that seemed like that was Gary's foundational line in this. I mean, it's common sense, but
It's the golden rule, right?
yeah.
Treat others how you want to be treated, and that's a big part of what we're talking about Gary, but there's family involved in the business today, and that's who they are, right? That's how they interact with people on the shop floor, people in the front office. So that's still heavily ingrained in who we are today.
Yeah, so curious as you go back to your business in Philly and Pittsburgh and good old Midlothian, what's your main takeaway? What are you going to take away from this rich history of this company that's been successful way before any of us were ever born? What's one thing you're going to implement as the leader, of your company that you picked up on?
One of the things that Brenda said that really stuck with me is that Mr. Vermeer was very budget conscious. I've been doing that anyway. Started out as necessity. I didn't have money. I'm just gonna take that and continue to do what I've been doing. To hear someone who has created something that is so massive now in the industry, I just know that by hearing that I was already doing something right. So I'm gonna continue to iron that home, but also take it into our personal life as well, because he was living that way. We got to see it. We literally ate in the house where they had a window air conditioner, because he was like, no. And then the coolest story was the dust coming in the house, so he paved the road so that the dust wouldn't come in the house to upset his wife anymore. But it wasn't actually for her, it was for the budget. So I just thought that was so cool.
What are your thoughts about that financial discipline and principle of Vermeer was founded on?
I agree with everything Cornell said, and also to slight similarity to that is something that I took away from Gary himself and his story, is that he was all about service. Like, he's all about serving others. Like, he used the same lunchbox. We saw it in the museum. Like, he was still using the same 1940 something lunchbox that was like barely still functional. And he was like, it works fine. I could still use it perfectly fine. Like, why do I need to spend money on this, that, or the other thing? Like, he had very specific priorities. Like, he wanted to make sure his family was taken care of, but he wanted to make sure his business was taken care of as well. And no matter how many millions of dollars, the company made over time, and as it grew and grew and grew, he didn't, drive around in a Rolls Royce or anything like that. He was just a very humble man dedicated to service, like giving as much back as he could to the community and to his family, to his extended family, to the business. And he would literally, in his final years, sit in his house, and the arms of his chair in his kitchen that were starting to get worn, because he would just sit there and he would watch his company grow out of his window in his kitchen, and that just speaks so much volumes and just reiterates for me, I already have a mission to continue serving our community within the green industry at a higher level, and seeing a man of that caliber just gives me even more motivation and fire to keep doing that even more. So,
as somebody who works here, how is that DNA of that frugality? And obviously profit comes from increased revenue, decreased expenses, but you guys are hyper focused on that. What's it been like working for a company, the kind of conservative nature of managing the money?
It gives us a lot of confidence as team members. I mean, we're truly standing on the shoulders of giants. You know, we're talking about history here. We're talking about the legacy of the company. But it gives you a lot of confidence as a team member that this organization wasn't built, you know, in a day, a week, a year. It has a rich history, and there's a firm foundation on what those core principles are that make up, you know, who we are as a team. And so it ultimately gives us a lot of confidence as team members, but also makes us excited to come to work, right? Whatever your job is on the mile, Vermeer has truly left a legacy on Iowa, on the Midwest, and across the globe. It's also made a tremendous impact on the community here in Pella.
You mentioned on the mile. For somebody listening, they're like, what is the mile? What's on the mile? Break this down for us, Trevor.
Yeah, so it's a term we use. Vermeer is in a rural town of Pella, Iowa, and you know, if you drive up from the highway, you see all these cornfields, and out of these cornfields and soybean fields, you'll see a mile long by almost a mile wide facility, a series of different manufacturing buildings and different things of that nature. So that's what we call the mile, or you might hear some people say the magic of the mile, right? And that magic is a lot of what we're all talking about here this afternoon.
Chase, did you have any takeaways from the way the financial foundation is here at Vermeer?
Yeah, I think to, you know, even to add to the financial foundation, I think two things that really stood out to me. You know, I feel as if Gary made himself, you know, a part of the team, right? So like a lot of times CEOs, they travel differently, they live in different neighborhoods. Gary lived, I'm sure, in the same type of house that all of his, you know, 500 employees lived in. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he made it seem like he was one of them, a part of them, the same thing. And so I try to take that and do that as much as I can. If I'm on a job site, pick up a shovel, edge garden beds right alongside my guys, or move mulch, things like that. And the second thing we saw in the museum was like the big failures. What was that board called?
Flops.
The big flops. It's never, you know, I think I'm gonna go home and try new things. He was not afraid to fail, and I think that's a huge part of success.
Fail forward. That's
Yeah.
what they call
Fail
it.
forward, yeah.
Go forward.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's a big part of what gives me confidence too, that it's a culture where you can learn, right? We have a continuous improvement culture. We've been on that journey for 25 years, and failing and learning from those failures is a critical part of that.
100%.
We can't share with you the specifics of what's happening at Equip, but I'm going to be at your outdoor booth Wednesday, October 22nd, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you'll be unveiling something there. But you guys have all been going to Equip for quite a while. So what are you looking forward to at this year's Equip Expo?
I'm looking forward to a lot of the innovative things that are coming down the pike in our industry, because I have a smaller business and I'm not looking to grow to some $1 million with 20 employee type business. So I care about efficiency. So I'm really eager to see the new innovative things that are going to help a business owner like myself, so we can make jobs easier for us. That way we can get them, still continue to do things, right? There's a lot of times that we don't do jobs, Captain Jack and I, because we simply don't have the manpower or the machinery to do it. So I'm excited to go down there and see some of the new innovative things that are coming down, so that we can maybe purchase something like that to open ourselves up to more profitable jobs.
And I know Naylor really inspired you, Cornell, but and we'll get to your event on Thursday evening, because there's an epic update for this year with a friend of ours that's coming. But at Equip Expo on Tuesday afternoon, Mitchell Gordy always does a meetup at Merle's, which is growing. And then Naylor does his rally on Thursday evening, and you kind of found a gap there on Wednesday. Can you kind of share with us about what you got going on for the community this year?
Yeah, October 22nd from 6 to 9 p.m. we'll be doing a 2025 Win in Life meetup, which we do games and door prizes, and it's just a big, like, fun place to be because you get to compete. And I found that when you have sports, you and I talk about sports a lot, Paul, but when you have sports, it's one of those things that is a community builder. So people pull down their walls and they go out and they actually talk to one another whenever there's a basketball or a baseball, or in this case, a bowling alley. But we have arcade games upstairs, pinball machines, arcade games, pool tables, dartboards downstairs, cash bar available. It's free to attend thanks to the sponsors that we will be naming here very soon. But it's just about helping people to win in life. At the end of the day, one of the cool things about Mr. Vermeer is he's seen a problem, he solved the problem, it created a business, and then I believe all of these people that we've got to meet here are now winning in life because of him, because of an idea that he had. So this idea was born out of just going to the YouTube rally and feeling that energy and then wanting to create relationships with other entrepreneurs who understand what I'm going through and I understand what they're going through, and then we help each other so that we can all win in life, because that's really what it's all about.
And then on Thursday, Naylor, you got so much going on all week at Equip, but what would you like to share previewing Equip?
Well, to answer your first question, every year I look forward to going to Equip to reconnect with community. I mean, some people, this is the only time you see them. You know, it's like the place to be out of the whole year because we live all over the country when it's an online community. So it's a great place to reconnect as well as make new friendships and relationships. But yeah, for the YouTube rally, to what you're teasing, it's been 10 years since the infamous and I call the godfather of our community, 10 years since 𝐕𝐢𝐝𝐻 was at Equip. It was called GIE plus Expo at the time, and that was 2015 was the last meetup. It wasn't even called the YouTube rally yet. He was there. I met him in person. You didn't get to meet him. You weren't there that year. So he has been out doing other things all that time. So for 10 years later, he's coming back and he's going to hang out with us. Come to Equip. I think he's literally just coming in for the YouTube rally. He's going to drive in and hang out with us and then leave.
Wow.
So
I might have to go.
yeah.
You know who he is?
10 years later, man.
Greg was the guy that I started my business from. I studied his videos when I was 13. He said he was like on his walkman mower saying, hey, if you guys want my flyer, like email me. And I was like literally emailed him that night.
Wow.
Like I copied and pasted his flyer. That's how I started my business. Was through Greg.
What an amazing story.
And I've tried to like thank him. I've sent him emails to that same email even 3 years later, just thanking him and stuff.
Yeah.
Never met the guy though, so I need to.
And that's the thing. There's so many people that haven't met Greg yet. You've met him since then, but there are so many people that haven't met Greg. So this is a great opportunity to be able to connect with him. That's an awesome story.
I want to interview. I got to interview Greg.
What are you laughing at?
Because I was so excited. We went to Greg's house. Naylor took me to his house to do a podcast. I got so excited, I left my shoes in his garage. I left without shoes on, and we drive to another state. And I was so starstruck. I was like, and then he called Naylor.
He had to mail your shoes.
He overnighted my shoes. And he's like, hey, did Paul leave his shoes? And I'm like, yeah. I was so nervous.
I got to watch that podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, he had shoes on for the podcast.
Thursday morning, this is pretty exciting. What's happening Thursday morning in the main ballroom?
Yeah. Thursday morning's the morning show. I can't remember how many years it's been now. It's been quite a while, but brought to you by 𝐕𝐢𝐝𝐞.
Shout out to our friends at 𝐕𝐢𝐝.
But yeah, so the morning show is a unique experience where it's the keynote speaker room. So it's like multiple rooms that they just open up all the walls, and it's just this huge space where you can come in, sit down, hang out, and watch us on stage podcast live. It's just like this unique concept. During COVID, I was like, we're all starting all these podcasts. Why don't we do something different? Because it was called Influencer Live at first, and we had like a live panel where we were a bunch of content creators were on stage, and there's Q&A with the audience. And I kind of evolved it into the morning show where we are actually podcasting live in front of a live studio audience. The audience still gets to ask us questions. Cornell is always good for at least one good starter question to get everybody going, you know? He's in the audience like, I got a question, Payjack, so he gets it going for us. But we literally have 3 different episodes. Like it starts off with my podcast, 𝐘𝐨𝐲 Media Podcast. This year I'm interviewing 𝐷𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐿𝐷 and then the followed by the Green Industry Podcast, what we're listening to right now with Paul Jameson. You're going to be interviewing 𝐕𝐢𝐝𝐿𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐿𝐷 You can give all the details to that, and I'm sure you've already talked about that. And then we follow that up with 𝐘𝐨𝐿𝐷𝐿𝐷 the Kid Contractor Podcast, is going to be interviewing Cornell Mack. And he is from the audience to the stage, Cornell Mack, so Mack Landscaping. But so it's a good time because it's an hour and a half that blows by in like seconds, and it's like standing, or minutes, maybe not seconds, but it goes by fast. Maybe not for the people standing along the walls, but we're always trying to get extra chairs in. So get there early is the point, 8 a.m. And it's evolved so much, and I just want to thank Equip for being such great partners. And they saw the potential with partnering with content creators and the online community, growing the industry from within, right? Because there's a small community that has a big reach, right? Because there's so many people watching, listening, all the above, participating in in-person live events, and it's like I've said before, it's an experience. It's hard to explain. You just have to experience it. And Equip saw that, and they were like, okay, we need to, like the owners, the managers of Equip, they're like, let's partner with them and see what we can do. And that's, I feel like, has really contributed to growing the show. And they're very open and receptive. Every year, Chris 𝐘𝐨𝐲's like, what do you need us to do? You know, what do you want? You guys put butts in seats.
Yeah, that's his thing. He literally tells us, what do you want from us, Paul? Like, Chris 𝐘𝐨𝐲 is the president of the Outdoor Power Equipment Institute. He's the head honcho in our industry.
That runs Equip, yeah.
And he gets it. He sees the power of Greg making a YouTube video, you starting a lawn care business, and then us collectively as an industry saying, hey, go to Louisville for Equip. Other trade shows, their attendance, trade shows in general,
either plateaued or going down.
The Equip Expo, it's like a hockey stick.
It's like skyrocket.
It's just, you know, the hockey stick where it's just like the attendance, because of content creators talking about, I'm going to Louisville to Equip. And I'm sure you guys have seen, you were telling us off air of how much of an important role Equip is for Vermeer.
Absolutely, yeah. It's our Super Bowl. You know, we started off with small booth inside, outside, and now we've got, I think, something like 150 by 150 booth outside where people can, you know, get hands-on with the equipment. And just like you all talking about, there's so many people in this industry that are so passionate about the green industry, and so we're super stoked to be a part of it.
Looking forward to that. Chase, you told me a story off air that you went to it's called GIE.
Yeah.
You didn't even have a driver's license.
No, I was 15, and my team member, also my buddy at the time, was 16, and so we booked our flights. I think that at the time we were worried about not being like the Uber driver kicking us out because you had to be 18, but we could still start an account. So we got our flights, Ubered over there, and then I remember like we were trying to go to these after party things, and like it was our first time. We didn't know what like was going on, so but like you couldn't even get in because it was all just drinking and bars and stuff. So we were like just scooting around the town, like checking it out. It was fun though. I saw 𝐘𝐨𝐿𝐷𝐿𝐷 was there for the first time. So yeah, a lot of great stuff happens there.
In addition to what we already spoke about, I decided to move my 2-day conference, essentially. It's a 2-day workshop called the LCR Summit, where we collectively get leaders in the industry to help you learn what you need to get your business to the next level, essentially help you build a business that serves you instead of being a servant to your business, whether that's coming down to knowing your numbers in your business to be profitable, all about the people, how to create company culture, how to find and keep the right people, how to market your business, something that some of the multi-million-dollar businesses that I know, they don't even market their business. They're just so used to just getting whatever they get from wherever, and then it starts to plateau, and they wonder why. It's like, when's the last time you've actually had an active marketing campaign? Like, do you even have a budget for marketing, or are you just relying on, we're just always so busy, whatever? But so it's like, you know, marketing is still something, maybe you don't, you know, it's an ebb and flow. Like, you don't have to always be marketing full bore, but there should be a plan and budgets, and check it, follow up quarterly. And, you know, social media is a thing. You know, you don't have to be an influencer to be on social media. That's the best way to market your business, is on social media. But so many guys out there and girls are like shy away from social media because they think, oh, it's just for those YouTubers. And it's like, no. social media is what everyone uses to look at anything. You know, like whether it's an ad or you're going on Amazon and you're looking at the reviews. You've got 3 different items that are all the same but from different brands. We're like, I don't know, you look at the reviews. Well, that's what the same thing social media does. So anyway, there's just so many different aspects like that 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 we cover in 2 days. And it's going to be on Monday and Tuesday again this year at Equip. We did it last year for the first time in Equip. Before that, it was in Atlanta. But I felt like it was a good way to get more access for people that are already going to Equip. Just take the whole week as a business trip, and you can get there on Sunday night, and then you have Monday, Tuesday, the LCR Summit. I mean, last year we had the lawn care millionaire there. In the past, we've had 𝐘𝐨𝐿 there, so names that that Chase has mentioned. This year, we've got Mark Bradley stopping by to do a fireside chat. You're going to be there, Paul. I'm going to be there. Cornell's going to be there emceeing again. Did a great job last year. John Pajak's going to be there. Jonas Olson from he's the pest control millionaire. So like I have a big network that I try to access to benefit everyone, because we can only learn so much from landscapers, right? Like we have like a ceiling, but if we go outside the door into another building that might have a higher ceiling or a different environment, now we learn something from them, like, oh wow, they do this in pest control. That's crazy. That's amazing. Like, let's do that, Or they do this in the lighting business or the window cleaning. Like, we went to a convention a while back that we got exposed to so many other aspects of the service industry. So I put all those connections together. So Jonas Olson's $10 million plus pest control company, so many locations. I think he's got over 200 employees. So he's going to be talking about company culture and how he thought that was just like a gimmicky term until he actually realized how important that was. And he can go into any of his locations and feel the culture, if it's right or not, and dial it back or dial it forward and all that. So anyway, there's a lot of great folks coming to help everyone learn, and that's Monday, Tuesday, the 20th and 21st. Go to lcrsummit.com if you want more details.
My next question is, what's your guys' tip for a first timer going to Equip? Because we have a lot of people, I'll name them. Kevin Salters, I finally persuaded him. He's coming down from Connecticut for the first time this year. My bookkeepers, the 𝐘𝐨𝐿s, they actually got a booth, the West Wing. Should have got a South Wing, Joey, but they got there in the West Wing. But they're coming for the first time this year. And then I'm sure there's multitudes of others who are coming to Louisville this year for the first time. So I'll start. My biggest mistake, my first year, I stayed at the Red Roof Inn.
I think that's where I stayed too the first year, you and my buddy.
Yeah, so my tip, and now you guys can all share your tip, but my tip is book your lodging immediately. Like, don't wait till tomorrow, because all the good hotels, like, the Hilton Garden Inn right by the Kentucky Exposition Center, all those fill up fast, and then you got to go farther and farther and farther away. So if you know you're going to Equip, get your hotel. There's a cluster of hotels right outside the Kentucky Exposition Center. If you look on a map, like the Hilton Garden Inn, I'm sure that one's already sold out, but those are good to stay at, or downtown. There's the Galt House, there's the Marriott, there's the Omni. Hotels you've heard of that have good ratings, those are usually good, but I would not stay at the Red Roof Inn. So that's my hot tip.
One of my tips for a first timer, I've gone to 8, so maybe not as many as all of you, but just say yes, right? We're talking about so many great opportunities here to plug in, right, throughout the week, before the show, after the show. So ultimately, we're all there to grow, learn from one another. So just encourage you, get outside your comfort zone and say yes.
I think I was going to say the same thing, like just get a good rest the week before, because you want to take advantage of every opportunity. But and if you can't find a hotel, what I've done the past couple of years is just get an Airbnb. I'm usually there with an entourage of people, so it'll be 8 or 10 or 12 of us in an Airbnb, and those always work out. You got to watch the neighborhood you're in, but you learn the first time.
For me, I would just say pacing is key. Like when I first time I went to Equip, I wanted to do everything, like everyone's suggesting, but you can't do everything. So I'll play devil's advocate a little bit and just make sure you pace yourself. It's all about pacing, because if you stay up till 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, hammered every night, you're taking from the next day's energy. You're depleting yourself. So now you're going to get up later, you're going to start later, and before you know it, Friday is going to be, I remember back in the day, I wouldn't even see people on Friday because they were just so done and just so exhausted they just slept through like everything. By the time they woke up, Equip closes a little bit early on Friday and they're like, oh, forget it, I'm just going to go grab something to eat, see who's still in town, then pack up and head home. And it's like, so pace yourself, right? Like in order to get the most out of the opportunity, you have to give yourself the most opportunity. So just, you like that?
We might make that a clip. Instagram reel.
Wait, say that again?
Say that again.
I can't. You expect me to remember what I just said? Come on.
It didn't click in my head.
Opportunity.
It's all good. Opportunity of a lifetime. You can say that one. It's all
The
good.
opportunity of a lifetime must be seized in the lifetime of the opportunity. That's Leonard Radio, right?
Yeah. So anyway, it's just all about pacing. To just make sure that you don't overdo it, so that you can get the most out of everything. So that's something that I learned. That's why I can do so many things, because I pace myself. I don't stay out till 2, 3 in the morning because I felt like I had to in the beginning. I didn't like get hammered. I was never that kind of a person. Nothing wrong with that. But in this situation, you want to get the most out of it. Are you going there to get hammered, or are you going there to get the most out of the situation through networking, business, learning, right? Like, do you want to actually show up for Equip with a clear mind and learn? Do you want to be able to have good conversations and network, or do you just want to get hammered and sleep in? It's not a vacation. It's a working, it's a business trip. It's a working vacation, whatever you want to call that. But so anyway, it's all about pacing for me.
I'd say 2 things is, number 1, have a plan. Go see the things that are relevant to you, right? Like some people are just out here mowing grass like me. That's fine. Start with the things that are going to serve you in your business and work your way out from that. So like if you don't operate dingos and trenchers and things like that, save that for Friday. Make sure on Wednesday and Thursday that you're focusing on things that are going to help your business. So have a plan would be number 1. Number 2, don't be afraid to talk to people. We walk through here and you see people and they want to say something and they think that someone's going to be mean. Well, we're all here for the same reason. And I ain't speaking specifically for myself. I mean, whether it's an influencer, quote unquote, someone you see on YouTube or something like that, or if it's just someone else who might have a cool logo on their shirt and they're just a business owner, go and speak to them people. Open your mouth, man. You can't get anywhere without information in today's age. And Equip Expo is a place where people want to give you the information. If you don't have a friends group at home, like at the beginning of my business, I didn't have people to talk to. When I went to Equip Expo, I had people who was willing to tell me, quote unquote, their trade secret. There's no secrets out here. We can all get it from the internet. But when you get it from Naylor himself or Paul himself or Chase or X person who's just a business owner, you realize something like, oh, maybe I was doing things the right way that I've been doing them. Or maybe I can change some things and adapt to get better. So I'd say have a plan and make sure you're not afraid to ask people questions and create relationships while you're there, because those will take you further than anything else, I think.
I'll give you a tip that I learned from Naylor for those of you who do make content. I would be like, oh man, there's 𝐘𝐨𝐿. Hey Keith, can I, and I'd film an Instagram reel or story. I try to do it. And the Wi-Fi is so raggedy in the expo center. Yeah. And when I'm trying to load it, the thing's just stuck, the little circle.
Yes.
And it's stuck. And then I was like, oh, Stan Genetic. But then my 𝐘𝐨𝐿 story's stuck and I'm all frozen and discombobulated. So Naylor told me this, and my phone's about to die. But he's like, open up your camera and then just film regular. Hey, what's up, guys? And then when you get back to the hotel or you get back to your car, then upload your Instagram story. So for anyone going to make content at the event, that's something I learned from you.
Just take a picture and put your phone away and then enjoy that, whatever is left at that moment, right?
I was so nervous when I met 𝐘𝐨𝐿. I was at your event, the rally. I see him and Ashley, and I think they had their dog. And I had to watch Keith on YouTube and Greg. So I'm like starstruck by these guys. It's like you're meeting an athlete. You're like, oh my gosh. Like if you ever met Michael Jordan, you'd be like, that's Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh. But in lawn care, it's weird. But a guy who mows grass, Greg, like if you meet him, you'll be like, kind of nervous. You know what I mean?
That's how it was with Keith the first time. But yeah, I'm sure it would be even worse with Greg. Yeah.
So I was like that for whatever reason. Keith he's just a regular guy, like
He
us.
is,
But I was kind of like, oh my gosh, and there's Wifetron, his wife, and then
Exactly. The wife. I still use that phrase.
yeah. So I was like, hey Keith, I'm Paul. You know, like I watch your videos, and he's like, hey, what's up, bro? He's like, hey, can I ask you a favor? I know we just met. He's like, you mind filming this? Because he wanted to film his grand entrance in the Naylor's event. So I was like, sure. And I forgot to hit record. I forgot to hit record.
That ain't the first
Following
time.
him around, and he's like, "We good, bro? We good?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm following him around, and he's all right. Let me look at it. And I never. Oh, and then Matt Lamarche.
First impression.
Yeah, and then Matt Lamarche is there, our friend. He's kind of.
Yeah. Even keel.
Yeah, but he's like, you blew it. And, you know, he's like really. It's hard if you don't know him, you don't know him. But he like just.
Let's
like,
smash it. We used to call Matt. Let's smash it.
He was like, you had your chance and you blew it.
I feel like that.
Oh man.
If I could give any advice to the new people, because if you've been there before, you know all of this. You know all of this. But if you're new, I remember myself being resistant because I gotta do leaf cleanups and fall cleanups and things like that. I can't go down there, I'm gonna be missing money. When I started my business, I felt like a person who cuts grass, just like that. And I would go to my wife, who was an auditor at a bank, her Christmas dinners and everything for her bank, and they would say, you know, what do you do? I'd be like, I cut grass. I mean, I have a grass company or something like that. I would say that. I felt like inferior almost because they were corporate and I ain't a redneck, but I was a grass cutter, right? And then you go to Equip Expo. And when you get down there, it literally changed my life. I got down there and I was no longer a grass cutter. I was a business owner, an entrepreneur, someone who was ready to go out and change everything about my life so I could be a winner in life. And the people who make those excuses are losing that opportunity Naylor talked about to create some sort of lasting relationship, to make that one reel that's going to go viral, that if you are creating content at home, maybe you go see some new innovative thing and that blows your channel up, but you're not there because you're doing leaf cleanups. So I would say, of all the advice, go get in the room. Come down here, man. Come down for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And if you don't feel like your life has been changed in your business, like what you think you could become from that, then this ain't the right industry for you. Because that event is just mind-blowing, what it did to my psyche. It made me just think differently about what this could be.
That was a glorified chuck in the truck. My first year attending, you see all the excellence of the manufacturers, and then you see all these companies that are there, like you're bringing your team, Chase, like there's other companies there with their team, and you see the professionalism of the industry, and it pumps you up. You're like, well, if they can do it, I can do it. Yeah. And I went up a couple notches my first year for sure.
And you also get to talk to, you ain't just talking to other lawn bros. There are literally owners of companies. There are CEOs there. There's marketing directors. There's high ranking people in all of these big companies that there are out here. And when you go have a conversation with one of those people and you actually can have that conversation, it does something for you. Right? When that person, you can have the conversation and you're on equal footing. They're not a CEO talking down to a grass cutter. They're a business owner talking to a business owner at that point. And when you feel that, I believe that was the thing that really changed for me, was talking to people and then getting to talk to upper echelon people who maybe you look up to, and then you have this conversation with them, you realize, hey, they're just regular people.
That's good. Well, as we land the plane here, I want you to share kind of your biggest lesson from today. I'll start and let you guys kind of think about, we've experienced so much yesterday and today. But one thing I learned from Gary is work ethic. So I think it's called nepotism.
Right.
But there's businesses where the children just get a free pass because
Right.
their last name.
And they run the business into the ground, or they don't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or you have a wealthy family, and the mom or dad, whoever generated the wealth, built it by working and serving people, and they had good money management, and then they give it to, they pass away and give it to the kid, and then it's all squandered. So what I took away from today is Gary was thinking years out and decades out, and his children, we drove past the CEO now, who is his grandson.
That's correct. Yep.
And he didn't get a free pass. He had to go to college. He had to go work at least 3 years somewhere else, which I believe he worked for. He's like a rocket scientist. or
For
something.
NASA.
Yeah.
Jet Propulsion Laboratory.
So he had to.
I believe you work somewhere else, like NASA. Yeah.
For some
It's true story. Yeah.
So you could just tell I don't know what you guys thought, just watching him walk down the sidewalk, but he's going to talk to the brand new people who are just onboarding to work here now at orientation or whatnot, and you can just tell he's earning their respect. And for me, it's like, wow, I want to have, first of all, I want to get a wife and have kids, but once I have kids, I want my son to have work ethic and have money management, and like to see this. Now that was the third generation, right?
That's correct. Yep.
So I'm taking that away, like as a leader of my home, future home. That's what I want my children and grandchildren to have: is work ethic, is character, and that's my lesson learned. What about you guys?
I'd say set a high standard. Like here, everything is done to a perfection level here. Like, and if it isn't, they have quality control people that send it back so that it can get redone. Like if you set a high standard for yourself in all aspects of life, you're bound to win eventually. So I'd say set a high standard.
I think the one thing I think from my generation is you see these massive corporations and they're not owned by one person or a family, like they're owned by private equity. So sometimes as a young person growing a business, you're like, is this even doable? So I think just being here and seeing the growth of this company and the families and like almost like the American dream is still doable. It's very inspiring.
I'm grateful that Vermeer reached out to us and wants to work with content creators to share their story, because what an amazing story you have to share. And I think there's a lot more people out there in our industry that will benefit from it and need to hear it.
You all have hit on a lot of great things. I think my biggest takeaway today is just reinstilling for me why I'm here, right? It's sometimes refreshing to hear people who have, new perspectives and see things from a different light maybe. So it's just reinvigorating for me, knowing my why and just understanding the legacy, right? And we all play a part in your own companies, and we're all playing a part here today and ultimately Vermeer's legacy. So thank you.
How can people connect with you or your events?
For me, you can follow me at Mack_landscaping 412 on Instagram. If you put Mack_landscaping 412 in any of the platforms, I will pop up. But YouTube is Mack Landscaping and Lawn Care, and Winning Life events and all of that stuff is all on my Instagram. So you can sign up for everything there. Any podcasts, we got the On the Attack with Mack podcast that we do every Monday night on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and soon LinkedIn, as well as co-streamed every Monday night. We have guests on, motivation, inspiration, and even sometimes education.
LCR Media Podcast is where I frequently am on all of the platforms. I've been consistent for four plus years, two days a week, always posting, always uploading, a podcast episode. It's LCR Media Podcast, but you can find me on all the platforms. It's easier just to Google Lawn Care Rookie, which is what LCR is short for, Naylor LCR, but that's the easiest way. You'll see all the stuff: YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, all the things.
Cool. And how can people connect with Vermeer?
We have local dealers, so feel free to go to Vermeer.com, type in your zip code if you don't know who your local dealer is. It'll tell you their contact information there. Feel free to reach out to them if you have any equipment needs or questions.
And you guys can reach out to me at 𝐘𝐨𝐶_Gallagher on all platforms. That's GALLAGHER. Shoot me a message on Instagram, and you can check out my business, CMG_landscape on Instagram.
Thanks again to Vermeer for hosting us. We're very grateful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks behind the takeout window. We have good job, guys.
Thanks, producer.
We have excellence in broadcasting, so we have some very good audio engineers and sound and video guys, as long as they hit record.
Oh, I see the red lights.
If
Oh,
you know, you know.
should be
Red
good.
light, yeah. So, all right, well, thanks for watching.
Have
Hope
to
to
get
catch
back
you
on the
next
job
one.
site.